Hola! Hello, everybody! I hope you can all hear us well. And I'm so pleased to welcome you all here with us tonight. We have just over 50 of you joining us this session. Thank you so much. It's great to be here again. Maria, great to have you again. How are you doing? Let me unmute you. Or are you on mute?
Oh, I will unmute. Sorry, guys. Well, it's great. Not so nervous as last time, so it's perfect. Great to be here, and I'm just, wondering what's gonna happen today.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's going to be full of unexpected discussions. We've kind of course, planned for today, and we'll tell you a little bit more what we're going to cover, of course, in a moment. But first of all, Maria, how has your week been? What's been going on? And maybe you could give us a quick update. Anything interesting happen over the last week?
Well, I'm working at clicked sprints now. I'm on 2 sprints. I'm on flow sprint and admin sprint, so I have a lot of work on different cases, different use cases in Salesforce. So basically, that's going on. Salesforce, Salesforce, and Salesforce.
Everyday Salesforce. It's like you're in a full-time job already.
Yes, it seems to be like that.
So tell us all a little bit more. So Clicked and this project that you're involved in. Can you share a little bit more details? What is it specifically? How is it all set up? Are you part of a team? Tell us a little bit more about this.
Well, we are because there are a lot of people. We are divided into teams randomly. So usually you don't know with whom you will be working, but that way you can learn how to work with different kind of people and how to just set up a team and work effectively. Fortunately, they divide the people into teams on the time zone basis. So we do not work with people from Australia or Pacific time zones. Uh, so I have in my team right now only CT zones, which is great. We have tasks. We have, first of all, we have overall scenario of the case. Now we are working for some wireless company who is not managing well the service cases, and basically they have all in different systems and they want to integrate it. So first of all, we need to this time we need to listen to interviews, but usually we do also interviews with stakeholders to get more information. Then we need to draw the business process maps, and then at the moment we are preparing personas and user stories, which we will present just after our live coaching session. And later on, we have some tasks regarding setup of the org and doing some more tasks which we don't know at the moment yet. That's it.
Wow, it's pretty
Yeah.
much like you're involved in delivery already. So I mean, and what's your, let's say, your specific role then as part of this team? Do you have any specific tasks that you're now managing or responsible for?
Well, actually, we kind of divide. That depends on how we go, because usually people don't have a lot of time for doing, for preparing for every single task, because we have sessions like right now we have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So basically, we need to deliver lots of work. So for each task, we divide ourselves into like, Maria, now you do the business process map and you present. Then someone else, we work together on the online document or in Jira and adding user stories, and then one person will present it hopefully tonight. And then we see after the session we meet and we divide roles for the next task. So it's ongoing changes. There are ongoing changes. So you do not know what you will be doing. but that's fun.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Really great practical experience, without a doubt. And uh, I believe some of your friends from Clicked probably are joining us today. You said it got a
I
bit
hope so.
loud recently on this internal Slack channel that you have there with your
Yeah.
friends from Clicked, right? So hello everyone. If you're at Clicked, say hello. Tell us where you're from. Great to have you here. And about Clicked. What do you think, Mario? Do you think there'll be any potential for us to invite someone from Click to tell us more about what you guys involved there, and have someone represent and share a little bit more about the whole concept, the idea, and how to apply and how to get involved?
Well, yeah, I was recently I sent an email to Jeff, and he said that we only need to set up a date, and he will join us with the pleasure. So, and Jeff is the
Awesome.
owner, the founder. So yeah.
Awesome. Looking forward to welcoming you, Jeff. And yeah, Maria, I'll leave that with you. Set up a date. We'll work around his availability and make it happen for sure. We definitely need to spread more noise about Clicked, as it's a fantastic way just from hearing how involved you are. So cool. Great stuff. Right, we have hellos from Spain, from San Francisco. So hello, nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us. I wonder what time it is in San Francisco right now. It must be sometime early morning or something, right?
8 hours earlier,
Yeah,
10
so mid
probably, 10
10ish.
o'clock
Yeah,
in the
so
morning.
good morning. Good morning, May. Uh, right, okay, guys. So welcome, and let's crack on. So I'll start off with the boring stuff, but like I said last time when we were introducing the whole concept and the idea of these Salesforce career coaching sessions with Maria, I did share with you all a disclaimer. And yes, it's a lot to digest, for which I do apologize. However, I'm not going to be reading it today. I just want to kind of summarize it for you all. So this disclaimer is basically covering certain elements which I just need to be open and transparent about. One is that I am not an accredited career coach in any way, shape, or form. So forgive me if we have any accredited professional career coaches online. Please share your feedback. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'll adapt, I promise. Or if you want to get involved, then do also reach out. Would love to share your wisdom with all of us, all of the guys who are following us. I'm here to really provide genuine support, and I'm on a mission together with Maria to help her achieve her goal, and that is very simple. It's to land and secure her first job within the Salesforce ecosystem in Poland, anywhere in the world, as long as she can do it within certain expectations as she has and the preferences we discussed about last week. And I think, Maria, easily I can say this, that you're fully flexible and really there's not that much that really restricts you from wanting to start your new opportunity. Other things to cover here is that this is voluntary. So, Maria, just to be sure, and I'll get you live here so everyone can see you. Are you do you agree? Are you a volunteer? Did I force you into having these sessions with me? I don't know. Are you chained to your desk and having to conduct these sessions with me?
No, I can move pretty freely, and no, I am a volunteer. I wasn't forced to this. I'm doing this because I want to do it.
Awesome, thank you. Just to fully confirm. Now, other things here worth mentioning is that we're doing live research. We'll be following various companies' websites on LinkedIn using their publicly available information. So this is just to notify everyone that we do not have any intentions to name, shame any companies. We're focusing only on the positive, the good, and of course, doing everything anyone would do in terms of their job search. The only difference here is we're doing it live and we're doing it together. We'll be making mistakes. We'll be making some errors. That's definite, but we're going to be learning every day on the go. We'll be definitely exploring on LinkedIn, on Trailhead, on App Exchange. So anything that's publicly available, these names will appear. So just out of courtesy, I want to share this. We'll be respectful and really approach this professionally without, of course, any focus on naming, shaming, bad experiences. The focus will be on the positive ones, because that's our outcome and our goal is to a positive one to help Maria land her first job. And of course, we'll be using a lot of Salesforce's names, resources, terminology, and this is all for educational and illustrative purposes only. And that kind of summarized the disclaimer, which I feel it's worth always sharing, just to be straight and upfront. Okay, so here we are back again, Maria. So let me just also address all of you who are watching us and with us online today right now. 72 of you, thank you so much. Let's just go over certain expectations for today. So about you guys, interact with us. This is a live interactive session. So say hello, say where you're from. Hi, Hilda. Hi, May again. Hi, Marzena. Lovely to see you, Marzena. I can't wait to see you soon. So Wrocław, San Francisco, Spain, and there's plenty more of you. So shout out where you're from in the comments here next to the live. You can share that with us and interact with us. Share your thoughts. Make suggestions, contribute to what we're sharing, share your experiences, share your feedback, suggest topics, and most importantly, share any opportunities that you might have come across that could be suitable for Maria. We definitely will explore them. So that's just a quick announcement and encouragement for you to join us. Hello, Florida. Hi, Annette. Nice to have you here with us too. Okay, now moving forward. So the plan for today, it's not going to be as long as last time. Trust me, I think we went over 2 hours, so apologies, but we had a lot to cover. Today, we're going to have a very brief introduction with a focus, of course, on Maria. I want you all to get to know her, but I want Maria to be practicing her elevator pitch so that it's pitch perfect. Then we'll follow up on our home assignments. Yes, we do homework here. And Maria has been very good at doing it as well, which we'll share with you later on today too. Today, we're going to be talking about the employer landscape with a focus on Poland. And I'll be sharing some of my thoughts. And I might not be totally correct. However, as I mentioned, I'm here to share my experience as well as a recruiter with close to 5 years experience in the Salesforce ecosystem here in Poland. So we're going to be covering this topic around types of employers in the Salesforce ecosystem. We're going to talk about different vacancies, job titles, positions, and together we're going to put together a list of, let's say, roles that would be preferred for Maria. So focus on Maria and her preference, her understanding of certain roles. If we're not clear, we're going to have to dive in deeper, familiarize ourselves with some specific positions. We're going to check out App Exchange. So we'll show you how quite easily you can filter different partners in different countries, but we're going to, of course, showcase this on Poland, and this will be the beginning of, let's say, putting together a comprehensive list of employers worth exploring, tapping into the hidden market as well, and kind of just getting a better picture of what's happening in our local ecosystem. And of course, there will be more homework. So Maria is overwhelmed probably already, but it's pretty obvious. We just need to be continuing exercising and being focused on the goal. And as a lot of you who maybe are in a similar position as Maria, looking for work, it is a full-time job in itself, really. So there's a lot to cover, a lot of stuff to be doing together. Right, there's also something we'll be sharing, and that's something I asked Maria to do as homework, but we'll get to that in a moment. So, who are we? Maria, last time you told me I have to go first. This time, ladies first. I'm a true gentleman. So, Maria, if you could please, as in any interview and any scenario in an interview, this is the one question you're pretty much guaranteed. 99% of the time, you're going to be asked this question. Tell me something about yourself.
See, and the funny thing is that I haven't been asked that question in my interviews, so I'm not prepared to answer it. Who am I? Uh, and it usually starts with and then I stop. Well, I'm a challenger, definitely. And who am I? Jesus, that's a tough question. I'm a Salesforce professional, I can say, and I'm enthusiastic about Salesforce. I have started my journey over a year ago, and since then I'm learning on Trailhead and also learning at Clicked experiences, and I'm trying to secure my first job. Apart from that, I have almost 20, no, over 20 years of experience on different fields, marketing, also sales and public procurement. And I'm totally a great fan of power boating. I race power boats and I also love skiing. And pretty much that's about me. How about you, Philip?
Thank you, Maria. That was very, very nice. Me? Well, my name is Philip Poynton. I'm a recruiter. I have always been a recruiter pretty much all my professional life, which is close to 17 years, which makes me old. For the past 5 years, close to 5 years, I've been solely focused on hiring talent for the Salesforce ecosystem. Started in Poland, and then moved out into Czech Republic, and also now covering Germany, Netherlands, Sweden. So I'm really getting to know the entire Salesforce ecosystem across Europe, and from day one until today, I'm still loving it. I'm fully active. I'm involved in the community, and that's really why I love Salesforce so much. Is really the community and how it all comes together. Um, and yes, currently I work for a fantastic company. It's called Nextview Consulting, where Salesforce boutique, the leading Salesforce partner in Europe. And yeah, my job is fun, never boring, never dull. So I cover all aspects of recruitment, from advertising, from doing campaigns, also looking after social media campaigns. And you'll always find me on LinkedIn. I practically live there. And that's me. So,
Perfect.
perfect. Well done.
Perfect elevator pitch. Yay!
I think it definitely can be better, and it's something we'll always be practicing, and this is the perfect platform to do so. So, Maria, you can always expect that question here from me,
Okay.
and you can always address it nicely and be creative to the audience. But yeah, you mentioned throughout your experience interviews, you've never been asked that question. You surprised me there, really. I always ask that question. I always want to get to know somebody before we start, and really, this question is genius because it can really help you start the atmosphere, then build your interview from a very strong positive experience, and then your task throughout the interview is to maintain that strong presence throughout your interview. If you're not prepared for that question and you start off with your ehs, your ahs, I'm 26 year old, I've got a dog, I've got a daughter, and I'm here because I'm happy, then of course you're not going to be very engaging. But if you can grasp the attention of your interviewers with a very well rehearsed and practiced and polished and elevator pitch or introduction, then it's a fantastic way to set the tone of your interview. Right. Okay, guys, so just quickly leading into our goal and just underlining it, I can never say how important this is. We have one goal and one goal only to help Maria land her first job. I mean, we're going to witness it because if we don't witness it, it means we're going to continue having this LinkedIn lives, because that's the promise we're making and the commitment we're both making is we will meet at least once a week to have a LinkedIn Live to discuss various elements of the whole process of job searching, finding a job, preparing for interviews, reviewing a CV, looking for opportunities, hunting for new vacancies, tapping into the hidden market. We're going to be covering so much. It's incredible. Uh, but one important aim and mission is to help Maria land a job. If she does, then we'll definitely lead her up into her new role, maybe catch up with her after her, first week, and then we'll let her go and let her fly on her career within the Salesforce ecosystem. And who knows? We might consider doing a similar series. Let's see. It all depends on you guys and whether this is also valuable for you watching us. The aim is to do this live so that any of you out there who's in a similar situation, finding it challenging to find a job, I'm glad you're here. We're both glad you're here because you can, hopefully find some inspiration, some ideas where maybe you didn't necessarily think of when working alone and focusing alone on your job search. Let's do this together. So once a week, it'll be announced regularly after each session. We have the next 3 or 4 sessions already set up and planned, but we'll tell you about that at the end. Okay, and we will, of course, be having guests, special guests joining us. Our first special guest is Łukasz Bujło, a Salesforce MVP and absolutely amazing guy who's really contributing to the Polish ecosystem tremendously, founder of Coffee Force and a very talented, of course, Salesforce professional. He'll be joining us next week on Monday to share a little bit in terms of the insights to this upcoming event, which everyone is talking about right now in Poland. That's Polish Dreaming. So we'll have the full insights, and Maria is going to conduct a full interview with him with a focus on her. Yes.
That's
Did I not
scary.
mention that? I mentioned that. Okay, guys, and we have a group set up, a special group. It's a privately listed group only for the true ambassadors and supporters wanting to join and support Maria on her mission, share feedback, open discussions, and just basically genuinely, join a fantastic team. Currently, we are 21 people. So join us. Let's make this group grow. And let's use this space as a platform to, share our wisdom, share our experiences, suggest topics, any resources, and hopefully create a nice community here supporting Maria. So hashtag Hire Maria is our hashtag as well, by the way. Right. So 90 of you joining us, over 90. So thank you. Great to have such an audience. Oh my God, imagine if this was live, Maria. I'd be really stressed out. It's nice that. In the chat, you can see the link to our group. Please feel free, come and join us. And yes, let's move on. Let's move on to homework that we had last week. So last week, I asked you to read an article by Ben McCarthy, a very interesting and fascinating one about the end of an era for easy Salesforce jobs. So we're going to start off today's session with a brief discussion around this, and nice to kind of reflect on how you interpreted that article, whether it gave you any thoughts of how to maybe define your role, your job search, but it's just kind of an opportunity to talk about different perspectives of the current state of, entry level, especially job market within the Salesforce ecosystem. And we know it's challenging, and it's really further bad news because it's going to get even more challenging. So, but it's also very exciting because there are ways to address it, and that's what we want to achieve here. And, you're not alone. Maria's not alone. We're in it together. So we're going to hopefully address these topics, and if need be, we'll be inviting guests to join us and share their perspective on specifics as well of this market. Then I asked you also to prepare a list of, let's say, job applications that you've made, and you did a great job, a very detailed job, and thank you. And we'll be sharing this with you guys later. I'm only going to be sharing fragments of it, but I'll explain it to you why, because there's some sensitive information, names of people who interviewed you, etc., etc. But we are going to be covering what we have at the moment, and it's going to be the beginning of how we track, monitor your applications, Maria. Okay. And then I also asked you to prepare a list of job titles that are of interest to you, or in general, job titles that you're familiar with. So you did a fantastic job. You collected a load of them. And today we're just going to kind of go through them quickly, list the ones that you feel you're most suited to. Maybe we'll add some more different job titles. It will never be a full list. And I'm counting on you guys watching us contribute, share different job titles that you've come across, that you're seeing popular in your area. We'll add that too, because it's worth taking note and exploring. Right. Okay. So let's talk about this article. So maybe if I were to just maybe start off by sharing, kind of a summary of what this article is all about, and I highly, highly recommend everyone to read it if you haven't read it yet. Salesforce Ben, or of course Ben McCarthy, is a very well-known influencer within the Salesforce ecosystem globally. He's definitely one to watch out for, and he's created a fantastic business promoting, sharing updates about the Salesforce ecosystem available to everyone, and tremendous content. So in the chat, you'll find the link to this particular article we're going to be just touching on. And yeah, share your thoughts in the comments as well whilst we're doing this. So in a brief summary, and I hope Ben doesn't give me a hard time if I do this incorrectly. No bad intentions. I came across this article a couple of weeks ago before our first live, and it just, of course, it was everything I was experiencing and also observing in the ecosystem. So it's a very relevant article also to, let's say, my view on what's changing and what's shifting. But in general, the article, discusses the evolving Salesforce job market, and it notes the shifts from a time when there wasn't such an abundance of Salesforce talent. Times where all you would really need was Salesforce certification, some theory, some experience on Trailhead, and bang, you could land your job quite easily, and not a bad paid job either. And then, of course, take off with that practical experience that everyone's in so much need for in these situations. It's become, of course, a more competitive landscape now, and this change, is attributed to market saturation and the growing demand for candidates with specialized skills and practical experience beyond your basic certifications. So the time for just the cert and passion and dedication and hunger to learn often isn't enough, unfortunately. And let's be brutally honest, guys, it really is the case. I think anyone who's on the market looking for their first time job in Salesforce, they'll know there's not that many opportunities for those entering the market. There's not that many jobs overall, really. I mean, but it's definitely less than last year at the same time, in my opinion. But still, they are a lot of vacancies, interesting ones, and they are becoming a lot more complex as we go. So this article suggests also focusing on, niche, or in America, niche, I believe, right? So niche areas within the Salesforce and product portfolio, and it emphasizes on the importance of gaining, real world experience to stand out in the job market. And easy to say, right, when you don't always have these opportunities. But Maria, you shared a fantastic platform, and that's Clicked, where you can really get hands-on experience, which is so fundamental when looking for your first-time opportunities. So, Maria, what are your thoughts? If you went through this article, what kind of stood out? What's something? How did you feel after reading it? Positive, negative, confused?
Drop it and go somewhere else. Go to work in Biedronka on the cash register.
In some ways, it was a strong article without a doubt, right? And there were some pretty, heavy comments.
Yeah, but actually, the only thing that I've learned was that that I'm having right in my, what I was thinking. That it's not that I'm crazy and I'm thinking things up. It's just the way the market is right now. Fortunately, I don't know the times when it was like really easy to get the Salesforce job because I wasn't interested in Salesforce then. So it's not from, how to say it, from my yard. But nowadays it's pretty hard to get a job, and you all the time you think that you are not sufficient, you are not good enough, because on there are like really few junior positions, and if they are there are a lot of applicants. And then if you want to apply for a position that is not strictly junior, you need to have 3 years of experience. And how do you get the experience if you are not allowed, you are not getting any job within Salesforce? But that was also, I don't know if you remember, but about a year ago on Polish fan page, the Salesforce Careers Poland, there was a discussion about that there are no jobs for entry-level positions, and someone said that, well, maybe you should try to apply for another position within a company that specializes in Salesforce, and then try to shift the jobs within the company, right? That's also the idea of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think all it takes is to get your foot in the door, right? Whether that's with a larger company that specializes in other areas, not just Salesforce, let's say in consulting, for instance, right? And then make yourself, give yourself that challenge to, no matter what, get into Salesforce whilst you work in, let's say, another department. That could be a way. But then again, you know, let's explore that as we go. I definitely still want to support you in directly applying for roles, but also being aware of your values and what you can deliver. I think we're moving from this market where it used to be, there was such a shortage of talent that, in Poland they had this expression of the mirror effect, right? So just if you run the mirror, okay, I can see you alive, then you can start and join us, you'll learn on the go. It's really now about what you can bring to the table to the employer or to the project that you're going to be involved in, because everyone needs to be utilized to the maximum, because it's a tough market where we're in the midst of a recession. The macroeconomic situation across the world isn't too good. Investors or customers looking to invest in digital transformation through software like Salesforce and tools that are offered by Salesforce are making these decisions very carefully, and they're also a lot more educated about Salesforce's products and who they want to support them in this transition. So it's all about value for money, and you as a candidate and everyone as a candidate needs to be focused and confident on how they can, support whoever is going to employ them, quickly utilize that skill set and really push forward, whether it's a project delivery, whether it's managing a Salesforce instance internally, but to quickly be able to hit the ground running and support and grow and develop and work with that let's say customer or employer. Now, the article is of course all about adapting to change. So how do you plan, or do you have a plan, Mario, when it comes to navigating this increasingly competitive Salesforce job market? Where simple certifications
Not
aren't
enough.
aren't enough.
Not good enough. No, 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 no. That's
And
why
tell me, what certifications do you have at the moment?
I have administrator certification.
So you have the mammoth, the biggie, the one that
Well,
is the beginning of often the journey of any Salesforce trailblazer. Well done, great, and that's fantastic. You have that. You plan to do more certifications. You
yes,
mentioned last time. You mentioned last time that a challenge to accomplish this is maybe not having the budget, the money to pay for these
exactly.
exams, right? Because
That's exactly the issue.
okay, so let me start off with some good news for you today. So I'm very pleased and proud that the founder and president of the company I work for, NextView Consulting, would like to offer you a free voucher for a certification of your choice. So I have the code, so I will share that with you. I will share that with you straight after this live. But it's just a small token of how we want to support you on your journey, and yeah, it's just a
That's
beginning,
not
right?
a that's not a small token. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Oh my God,
Listen,
how awesome that is!
that's awesome. So I'm really pleased, and it's amazing. And yeah, do let us know how you're getting on, and yeah, good luck. You mentioned app builder, right? Was something you're
Yes.
almost ready to do. Go for it. Do the app builder, but we're going to talk about other certifications as well, and we're going to look for more sponsors. And a little bird tells me, or tweeted to me earlier on today, that there may be some more coming your way. So just hang in tight. So.
How great that is!
So, it's about addressing challenges and finding solutions for them. And we've got a wonderful community, a lot of supporters. So thank you so much. Thank you, Hoop. Thank you, NextView. I'm really, really pleased that we can share this. And there's plenty of more good stuff to come, Maria. So hold your horses, but get ready to take your app builder course and exam shortly soon. Right, but moving on. So certifications are not enough. We know that for a fact. How else? How else can you navigate or be more competitive as an entry level? Any ideas? Any thoughts?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is the experience on Clicked, right? Because there
Hmm.
you do the projects based on real life scenario, and that's something you can share with the during the interview and so on. But also, I've heard about the community which was set up by Jody Herbeck, and she does something like demo jam sessions where you can present your org. You build an org for a certain reason and you present it and they kind of evaluate it. But there are people with amazing ideas and doing like amazing things on Salesforce just for your regular daily tasks. Like there was one guy who showed Salesforce org for they had some house with old furnitures and they needed to sell it out.
Hmm.
So he used the Salesforce org for indexing all the items and setting the stage of the whether it's he got an offer for it or not, or whether this type of furniture stays at his home or not, or stuff like that. Like really amazing ideas people have to use Salesforce.
I mean, yeah,
Oh,
exactly. You can just look at App Exchange and just see there's tens of thousands of different ideas and apps, for various reasons, personal but also business. I mean, predominantly business, right? For sure. But that's also an idea I wanted to explore with you later today when we look at your, let's say, application monitoring process. When looking at it, we're working in a Google sheet whilst doing that. I'm thinking to myself, man, yeah, we could do better here. Why not a simple application monitoring app, for instance, which you could also maybe put on App Exchange, and offer it for free to any job seekers.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, I'm fantasizing, but that's just an idea. But a very simple app to help you monitor, manage your job applications, and then you can play around with automation, notifications, reminders, all sorts of stuff. But just an idea, something we can, of course, explore. I think listen, we're getting a lot of comments already in on LinkedIn here, so I definitely would like to address some of them, which are relevant to this article we're talking about. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Forgive me sincerely, Srikant, Salesforce lead administrator. The latest article by Ben McCarthy was brutally honest, he says. For brave, optimistic heart, they will plan and prepare how to sail through because near future is rewarding. So for others who have weak stomach and heart, honestly, adios. So yeah, it's I also, when I read it the first time, it was brutally honest, and it kind of really was pretty striking in that sense. But what what don't you like about that? You've got to be honest, because I absolutely agree with everything there, and there's so many perspectives there shared also from experienced Salesforce practitioners, also recruiters, well-known agencies specializing in Salesforce. There's even word of a CTA struggling to find an opportunity. So it's just showing that we are experiencing a shift, and it's not just junior level, it's at all levels. And I really am also experiencing as a recruiter, when now defining new opportunities, new vacancies that we're considering, it's also becoming a lot more complex than it was a couple of years ago. So it's time. I mean, that's the thing about Salesforce. It always was, right? This is a place where we learn, then we unlearn, we learn again, we unlearn again. And, it just seems like it's a constant journey of learning, unlearning. But, that's how technology is developing. That's how, business is developing. And now with all the hype around AI, data cloud, it's bonkers. And, no question about it. This should be a focus for us all. This is where companies are going, are heading. This is where the investments are going to be made. And of course, in order to have all of that, you also need to have certain core elements, of course, of the CRM in place. But I mean, this is going in new directions. And in this article, there's also a lot mentioned around that. There's also a lot mentioned around MuleSoft, right? Being, of course, Salesforce's integration solution, which is really picking up. And I've experienced that as a recruiter, hired quite a lot of MuleSoft professionals over the last couple of years. So it is becoming, there's definitely a shift. Rachel sharing with us that she's feeling inadequate is one of the toughest parts of the search for me too. So feeling inadequate. We relate with you, Rachel. You're not alone. We're glad you're here with us. Let's feel inadequate together and kind of hopefully overcome this feeling and start building confidence and hope that, good opportunities are going to rise. They're not going to come alone. There's a lot to be doing to position yourself in the top of the list of potential talents out there. And that's what we're going to be addressing here. So I'm glad you're here with us, Rachel. Rachel also looking for her first job. Right, guys, I'm going to go then back to this article here that we're discussing. So some, let's say, tips for entry-level job seekers. Well, specialize, right? It's kind of the takeaway, from my opinion, from this article. Specialize. Wow, that's a big word, right? Specialize. I mean, Salesforce is so diverse with so many different products and clouds and solutions and features. 3 times a year at least, updates, new releases, right? So I mean, Specialize. There's no one person who's an expert in everything with Salesforce. That's one thing we just need to be clear about. But it's good to be very familiar with the core clouds naturally. But of course, specializing here, I'd say finding a niche that really, really, really is of your interest. Now, whether that's AI, which is of course very relevant to the way things are trending now, and it's only getting bigger. I think data cloud is an area where you just really have to become familiar with what's on offer, what it involves, where your role could perhaps grow into these areas. Um, Gaining practical experience. So you've mentioned clicked, and this is a fantastic way. They mention also in the article about voluntary work and stuff like that, that it's not enough, right? It's the practical hands-on stuff. So Maria, any idea how to gain this practical experience? Any thoughts? You're doing clicked, which is fantastic. It's definitely a great way, but any other ideas how you could do that?
Do your own org with your own project.
Bang,
That's
that's a
the other
fantastic
idea.
idea. And really, really create something wonderful with your experience, your knowledge. And I think job searching is something you're very used to already and you're familiar with. So we can develop that together. And, I'd love to help and support you with that. We can involve some people with more technical expertise if needed to add other things to really make it a nice tool to help you. What else could we do? Or what else could you do?
That's good. Well, I have no idea. Help, guys! Help! Help me! Who else?
Anyone else has ideas? Okay, so I'm just trying to get familiar with. So Annette shares here that Jodi's demo org jams are amazing. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Maria. Jodi's
Yes, I
demo
have been
org
talking.
jams.
I have been talking about it.
Oh yes, you did. You
You
mentioned
are
that, of
not
course.
listening. Jesus,
I'm a man. I'm not that good at
I
multitasking,
know,
reading, and then of course. But yeah, of course you mentioned it. Of course, we've talked about it a few
I
times.
know.
Um, I would suggest also, things like we have in Poland, the famous one and only Salesforce hackathon, charity
Yeah.
hackathon. It is, again, it's in Wrocław, but it's definitely happening. It's been announced. It's in September this year. So this concept is interesting. So you become part of a team, and over a whole weekend, you develop a solution for a foundation, a charity, and then that gets implemented. So it's not just a nice theoretical presentation of it. You actually create the design and the solution for a specific charity. And there's plenty of information provided, user stories, challenges, issues. You have representatives of the charity on site you can interview, talk to, troubleshoot with. It's a fantastic idea. So maybe check out opportunities like hackathons where you can be part of a team that literally delivers a solution, presents it, and if you're lucky, you win the competition, and you can even be part of implementing it live for a foundation, and that's a wonderful way.
Okay.
Also, finding out, and this is something we can do, is we can reach out to the foundations that have already benefited from the charity hackathon, and there's 3 in Poland, and I can help you reach out to all of them and find if there's
Wow.
any way of you getting involved and helping them, maybe adding some new
Cool.
features. Because yeah, that could be an angle for us, and that's something we're going to talk about and get involved in as well. Okay.
Definitely, definitely. Oh, and I have another thought
Hmm.
that there is an Salesforce open source commons, uh, open source, and they are doing sprints as well, voluntary sprints, and we are working on parts of the solutions for like non-profit organizations,
Hmm.
and that's what I've taken part in twice already, and that's awesome as well because we are doing some
Awesome.
projects for like apps for Salesforce, or you do there was also a group doing prompt engineering for nonprofits so they can kind of ease their job. Yeah, that's also some. good thing.
Well, there you go. So, I mean, we've covered already a few ideas that can happen. Yeah, it does require a lot of your dedication, your time to do so, but it is ways of gaining actual practical experience and solving issues on a daily basis that companies that have Salesforce in a, let's say, a smaller capacity can really benefit from. So that's something we're going to explore together, Maria. And when we're together, Polish Dreaming, we'll connect with some people and discuss
Oh,
about that. Okay.
yay! Yay.
Srikant mentions here in our chat also a very interesting comment. I have a feeling to crack into FANG level companies. So just specializing in a Salesforce niche is not sufficient. We certainly need to mix more like Web3, Python, or data science, or anything spicy tech stack for that matter. Absolutely agree. I mean, we're talking about the future now and the way these solutions are going, right? Web3, Python, Python being a programming language. I'm not saying to suddenly become a specialist, but really be close to these solutions and being familiar of what it entails is already a good start.
Yeah, but like even knowing the basics give you something because when I was, studying in the ancient times, I was familiar and did know really well HTML, which is kind of old now, but having the basics of HTML and CSS, I can do a lot of stuff and I understand a lot of programming. So the basics of the programming language and stuff like that gives you some advantages in working in the tech environment.
Absolutely, it's good. I mean, the basics of HTML. I mean, we're talking here very simple, kind of front end stuff, right? But here Python, and it's
Yeah, but
it's definitely a lot more.
I know, but just I'm just saying that even having the basics of Python, which is not I think not. I started learning, but I, just kind of stopped. It's not like super hard to learn. That gives you some sort of advantage, right? Knowing SQL gives you an advantage. Knowing something else gives you an advantage, but still, you still need time for learning all of it. So now is the tough choice: what to choose to that would uh, be sufficient for you to land your first job. Then you can start keep on learning new things and new ideas and new whatever. If you want to be, I don't know, a business analyst and developer, just start learning Apex and with something else, right? But in which direction you should go and what actually knowledge you should have to land your first job, because that is not clear at the moment, right? Well, it's
Well, it's
this.
all about the opportunities and the needs that are out there, right? I would say, we're definitely probably looking still at the space of admin, ensuring that users are, fully adopting, and using the features, benefits of, their, let's say, orgs that they're having. Of course, we have a rollout of all these new features, and now the data and how data is managed and used. It's all about data. Data is king, right? It's the biggest commodity, for any company. Um, but there's so many directions to go, and we're going to try and explore as many as possible. But I think, Maria, this is a journey where you're also going to be discovering what's important to you, and it's important that you start recognizing aspects of Salesforce which are really enjoyable, because it's nice to combine that with further development. Okay, let's move on. This article worth a read. I encourage everyone. It opens your eyes a little bit. It gets you thinking, and I'm glad we covered this. Okay, so let's go now to talking a little bit about the types of employers. So let me just share my screen. I'm going to have to probably adjust the size of the screen a little bit as well. I think this is visible. Let me know, guys, online if it's okay. If not, I can work on improving the visibility here, but I think it's pretty clear. Before we move in, Srikant wants to share some. He's replying to what you shared, Maria. So for freshers to get into Salesforce, I feel it depends a lot on geography. So your location that the candidate is based in. As an experienced guy, I feel the freshers should definitely need to add CPQ and Marketing Cloud. This is also a topic covered in this article, CPQ, right? So as a certification, so going into Marketing Cloud. There's a lot of talk around Marketing Cloud right now. Also some elements of it being integrated with Sales Cloud. So it's definitely a big changes happening in that space as well. And yeah, good to consider in your armory, not just having the platform developer one or admin specifications. So yeah, so really diversifying it with niche products and solutions that Salesforce offers. So CPQ, CGG, and yeah, so great share. Thanks for sharing that with us, Srikant, and absolutely, totally agree. Marketing Cloud, also a total different tool. One that I'm sure you could also relate to, considering your extensive event management experience and working also in part of marketing teams and sales. It's something we just need to explore, and we have fantastic people in the Polish ecosystem that we can reach out to and ask them to share their story of, let's say, getting involved in Marketing Cloud. Some of the fantastic influencers like Mateusz Dąbrowski and many, many more. Right. Okay. So coming back to this Google Sheets Excel sheet. It's kind of
Come on,
embarrassing.
we are just. Oh, come on, we are old. We are going for classics.
Okay, so this is my suggestion, and this is, let's say, my view of the ecosystem here in Poland. And I kind of discussed it, consulted it with a few of my colleagues and contacts in the ecosystem. But this is, let's say, how I would categorize employers in the Polish Salesforce ecosystem. Now, everyone watching, if you think differently, if you have different opinion, or you would categorize employers differently, please share it with me. I'm very keen to learn myself as well. So, number one, clients in-house. So it's pretty obvious, right? These are solutions for business, so the business needs to utilize them. In Poland, we don't know the exact figure of how many companies actually using Salesforce. A few years ago, it was announced that there was close to 500 companies, which isn't a lot at all for an economy the size of Poland. Today, I would comfortably say it's definitely way above 1,000 companies using Salesforce. So, Maria, have you heard of, do you know any companies that are definitely using Salesforce here in Poland?
I've heard that Biedronka Ladybird is using Salesforce. Am I right or not?
Yeah, absolutely. There was, I think, a big story about it recently, right? The company name isn't Biedronka. How do they call themselves? It's
Geronimo Martins?
Geronimo. Yeah, that's it, Geronimo Martins. But for instance, so we can put in Biedronka. Yeah, we know. We know who we're talking about. So Biedronka, a massive, I think, the biggest retailer, right, of supermarket chain, right, in Poland. Yeah, so interesting, worth exploring. Have you seen any jobs, Biedronka, for Salesforce? Okay.
No, and also the other animal, Żabka.
Żabka, yes, for sure. Also, convenience store, massive franchise, God, in the thousands, right? So they must have an interesting Salesforce instance. I wonder what it covers.
Yeah,
Worth exploring as well, right? We can
right.
quite easily find out more about this, reading about case studies and finding out key people who've been involved in the project, and just go straight to them and see if we can explore further. So, any other companies off the
I
top
have
of
no
your head?
idea. No,
So,
I don't know.
2 out of at least 1,000. It's plenty
Oh,
to explore.
sorry. Yes, it is.
But I think we have totalizator sportowy. Yeah, so this is, let's say,
Seriously?
the national lottery in Poland. They have this. Uh,
Oh, wow.
And yeah, there's plenty more. But I mean, this is just to get started with categorizing. Okay, so it's definitely worth understanding the ecosystem and who's using Salesforce, because honestly, Maria, this is a fantastic pool of potential customers that you could also approach, find out who's responsible for Salesforce, and we could do it together. But it's about networking, getting through, tapping into these companies and seeing what areas they need help in, and maybe exploring that. Maybe we can invite someone. Who knows? Let's give it a massive focus. But clients, customers, or in-house, however we want to name it, I would say this could be one separate category. Just checking the comments. No comments yet. Okay, but share your thoughts, guys, if you have any other thoughts. Next category or next type of employer, well, consulting, right? So the big companies that provide consulting services in the space of
I know next
technology.
you.
Oh yeah, there you go. Thank you. So yeah, we have NextView. NextView, definitely one of them. Any other?
PwC.
Yeah, PricewaterhouseCoopers for sure.
Uh,
Any others?
the Del. I don't know how to pronounce their names. Del what? Deloitte. Del whatever.
Anyone working for Deloitte? I mean, I'm using Deloitte, but yeah, it's French, of course, right? So that could be that's something we can research and find out. But if there's anyone working currently for Deloitte, do let us know. It would be nice to be confident about how best to pronounce it. Something definitely worth doing before an interview.
Definitely.
And the
Hey,
list goes on.
we have a comment. Do you have recommendations about how to identify end user Salesforce clients who have their own in-house Salesforce support teams? That's a good question for which I have no answer. Maybe you have an answer.
Yeah, well, that's something we'll be doing here live with you guys. I think it's research, but also networking. I mean, I would start off with case studies. So Salesforce, together with consulting partners, they announce case studies, they share their expertise, who they've delivered for, and very often you can find names of people from both sides, right? So from the consulting partner side, from the Salesforce side, but also from the client side, and that's a starting point. Other things is doing Boolean searches on LinkedIn, finding out, checking out, let's say we're familiar, there's a customer who has Salesforce. Now let's go onto LinkedIn, see if they have any people with titles Salesforce to start off with. Very simple approach initially. Then it's using networking and finding out, through your network, what other companies do we have? Now, of course, you could probably, if you've got strong relationships with Salesforce, you might be able to tap into a little bit of wisdom from them. But of course, this is strictly confidential information, not always the case. But I think it's about really following, your market and really tapping into, the network that can share this. So it requires a lot of research and really tapping in and exploring this local ecosystem and discovering those customers. There's no official list publicly available where you can find out who has bought licenses of Salesforce and using them. I wish there were. I would be a lovely answer to share with you and share a
Maybe
link,
we
but
should do that list.
yeah, I wonder how. But yeah, that's
I don't
that's
know.
something.
Let,
So
let's, I will be searching and then we will have a list.
There's another question here from Hilda, how to find remote job Salesforce. Okay, so remote work. I guess most roles are remote now or hybrid. There's of course this trend of going back to the office, but I would say it's not that hard to find remote opportunities. You can start off with let's say it's worth understanding that every company will have its different policy to remote workers, right? Now, if you would be a remote employee, then by law you'd most likely have to be employed within that country, requiring you to, have all the right to work documentation for that particular country and a residence, etc., etc. Now, if you're a contractor and you can work from any part of the world, then it's also a decision made by companies whether they have that policy internally that they can accommodate contractors from all over the world. Not all companies have that, unfortunately, but some companies really just focus on, contract outsourcing and having contractors deliver. So it's about really recognizing companies that focus on that. Otherwise, you have your websites, your Upwork, your remote work. There's a whole plethora of different now platforms where you can set up a profile for free and start bidding for opportunities that customers, clients are sharing. So that would be my take at the moment. And then, of course, the many job boards, filter remote opportunities. But I think, as Maria rightly mentioned, be careful of time zones, how that could affect, let's say, your work-life balance whilst doing that. We will go to App Exchange later on, Hilda, today. That's our aim. And we will have a look at how to find companies using Salesforce or App Exchange. So that's what we plan to do today. Okay, but coming back to our types of employers. So we talked about clients or in-house or directly working for companies that use Salesforce, have invested in Salesforce, and of course will continue to develop its functionality. And here, when you think of it, this is the typical admin, but then they have whole teams, right, including technical teams. So they might have had some support from a consultancy. They might have built a whole team from ground up internally. So this is very diverse, and it's worth exploring and trying to figure that out, or even approaching people to ask. And when you think about it, a company's invested heavily in Salesforce. It's a lot of money. Good questions to first ask is maybe, how many licenses have you got? If you can find that information, it gives you kind of an idea of the scale, the complexity of such instances. And then when you think of it on a business perspective, what does the business want Salesforce for? What is it using it for? Which direction are they heading? Do they further want to invest in it? How is it integrated? What is it integrated with? And then you can start, diversifying the various roles to support that strategy. It could be anything from your simple admin support to very technical further development of the solution, of the instances, adding new features, integrated it with other legacy systems, so it becomes quite a complex, technical environment. Roles can also involve helping new joiners or people starting their journey with Salesforce adapt with it. So training, showing them around, exploring that with them, resolving issues, plenty of stuff that can be fairly quick to learn, and fairly quickly you become an expert of one Salesforce instance, which will build your confidence and make you really feel confident about, let's say, potentially advising or guiding or giving suggestions to improve it. So then we have consulting firms, which we talked about, and some consulting firms are split into different, let's say, departments. So they may have a department that specializes in pure delivery, so implementing Salesforce for customers. Then as part of that service they offer, they may have something called commonly known as managed services. So let's say post-production, post-implementation service, where you provide additional support to maintain, to resolve issues, to support, guides, train, and further develop, these solutions. So these are big investments for companies. So of course there has to be a plan of really adopting it, and that's change management, which is also tricky. If, suddenly you're used to working on one particular system or systems, and then suddenly you're asked to work on a new system called Salesforce, and if you haven't been properly inducted into it and showed around, it can be challenging, right, from a user perspective to fully utilize it. Um, Then we have something here which is called ISVs. So, do you know what this is, Maria?
Well, I think that those are the companies who are making apps for App Exchange.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
actually,
exactly. They create.
add-ons to Salesforce.
They exactly. So these are companies that build applications, right? For application specific software, right? So they sell it as products. Some on subscription basis, some are absolutely for free. But to put it simply, this term ISV is an abbreviation, right, for independent software vendor, right? ISV. Very often also, partners of Salesforce, and their solutions, before they become available in App Exchange, they go through a very specific verification process by Salesforce. So it's not just that you develop something, you whack it on App Exchange and it's there. It goes through a verification process. I'm not that well informed about that whole process, so it's something I'm keen to learn myself. But I know a few people in Poland as well who lead ISVs or divisions or subsidiaries of larger companies that specialize in this area. So yeah, we can also connect with these people, maybe invite them to share their experience from that perspective of working for ISVs. Do you know any ISVs? Any brands in Poland?
Unfortunately, I cannot remember.
Well, off the top of my head, Aquiva Labs is one
Oh,
I
I've
definitely
heard
know.
them. I've heard about them.
Yeah, I mean it's hard if you've met Kuba, who's a regular speaker at I think all events. A CTA, a fantastic guy, and also an author of a fantastic book. He leads the team here in Poland of Aquiva Labs. So that's a great example of one such company. There's also, I have a friend who works at For Friendly, I believe it is. Yes, For Friendly. Forgive me if I haven't spelt this correctly. I need to look it up. So they also create products to solve specific business problems or provide solutions for. I believe they have developed a product, Avenir, I think it's called, which is around, uh, generating documents, PDF documents, and so forth. So I mean, it's a very diverse area. I mean, there's tens of thousands of apps on App Exchange, also worth exploring as well. So this is another category of employer we should also explore. And then we have outsourcing agencies. So some software houses in Poland specialize in outsourcing. Do you know, how would you define outsourcing, Maria?
Well, that they post a job opportunity for certain project and they kind of rent you for that project.
Yeah, so you kind of, a terrible term I hate is body leasing, right? I mean, it just sounds so scary, like from a thriller, a hedgehog movie, body leasing. But yeah, you're basically hired by an employer, but you're working for a particular customer. Have I lost the
Yes,
connection or something? Sorry.
you disappeared
Uh,
for a second.
it will come
Now,
back shortly.
And
I
now
know.
the screen disappeared. I mean, the Excel file disappeared.
Oh,
It's
has it?
black. It's black.
Oh my goodness, this is really
Oh,
bad. So forgive me, guys. Bear with me. This is a technical issue. I wasn't expecting, but these things happen. Let me see if I can resolve this. So forgive me. So I'm back. Okay, so outsourcing. Yes, C. You mentioned C. So
yes.
C is a huge company, right? They do a lot, and they specialize in pretty much every aspect of technology. So, but they deliver also. They implement Salesforce, Salesforce partner, of course, a very well recognized one. Whether they outsource, I expect they would, but I wouldn't call them specialists in outsourcing solely. They're just a huge company that do a lot of services and offer a lot of services to clients.
Okay.
There are companies that specialize solely in outsourcing or well known for that. I think you've even applied for a position.
Randstad.
Was it no, that's an agency. That's a recruitment agency, right? So they're usually hiring on behalf of a customer. You
Okay.
could be also outsourced by an agency as a contractor, right? So that's why I've kind of categorized this under one. So outsourcing, well, there's some companies, I'm familiar. I know a great company. My wife used to work for them. I used to provide some services for them. Millennium, it's a big company. They also deliver full implementation projects, but they also outsource for some really big, well-known brands. I believe Aztec is one company you applied for
Yep.
in the past. And Aztec, if you go to their homepage, their website, it says we specialize in outsourcing. So without a doubt, I can clearly state here that they do. Avenga is another one. I believe they were called IT Contracts or Contract IT before. Now they're rebranded and called Avenga. They also provide outsourcing, and there's a lot of companies actually that also do this. It's worth noting though that it's a slightly different setup, right? And it's good to be familiar
Hmm.
with this when applying and when preparing for an interview, if you have one. Um, so
Audit.
Cloudity is a company that delivers. They implement. I'm not entirely sure. They're definitely well known for full delivery. Uh, whether they outsource, it could be also a case.
Yes, they do.
Uh,
That's what
they
Google
do.
says. That's what Google says.
Well, there you go. So this is it. So there's consulting firms that also provide various services. It's about providing a variety of flexible offerings for customers. To deliver to their needs. So managed services can also be an element of outsourcing too, right? So we outsource specialists of Salesforce who will work for you and your specific company only, and they will support you and guide your teams. So it's a slight different nature of work. You're usually employed by a different company, but you're working full time or part time for. Sometimes you'll even be given a laptop, a special laptop with all its security measures installed for one client, right? So that's the thing. So it's worth being familiar with the variety of such employers. Okay, and then of course we have Salesforce themselves. So in Poland, there are definitely some remote workers providing, of course, worked and employed by Salesforce in, let's say, more technical sphere. But then we have a lot of friends that we know, Polish. Some live in Poland, some live in wonderful different parts of Europe, who represent Salesforce and support the whole Polish ecosystem fantastically. So Salesforce is also an employer worth considering, and there may be more opportunities available in Poland, right? Or remote opportunities. Let's see. This Salesforce is, of course, a massive employer and one very close to all of our hearts. So,
That's true, but I
uh,
haven't. I haven't seen any position for Poland. The only one that I saw was in Ireland for
Mhm.
Polish speaking people for support. like probably the
Yeah,
customer.
so in Dublin, yeah, they do have their headquarters for Europe, so they operate a lot from outside of Ireland, but so there's a lot who are, of course, Polish, and they travel a lot to Poland. They spend a lot of time here in Poland supporting the Polish ecosystem, business. Then you have the whole army of account executives headed by Krzysztof. Big hello to Krzysz. So definitely we can explore this. But if there are any announcements, any plans, we'll find out for sure. Okay.
What's the difference between consulting versus outsourcing agencies? Asked Hilde.
Great question. The difference between consulting versus outsourcing agencies. Well, I would define it this way, that consulting that offers a delivery model, so they will design, implement the full solution or phase of an implementation together with stakeholders from the customer side, and together they will create and develop and go live and release it, provide some hypercare, and then a decision is made by the customer whether they have their own internal team that they wish to manage and maintain the solution, or they might want to choose a company that offers managed services support, or they want to hire a team to look after it, or they might want to consider outsourcing. So I think the difference here is outsourcing, not necessarily does it mean you're going to be involved in implementing, delivering a solution for a customer. You could be outsourced to the demand, the need of specific skills to maintain a solution or further develop it, but on site with the customer. Maybe not on site, remotely as well, right? But I mean, you're employed by company X, but you're delivering and working solely for one other company. Does that make sense?
Yes,
I
clear.
I hope Hilda, that makes sense. But it's something we have, and which is quite common in Poland and Central Eastern Europe. Do you have that where you're from? Let us know, or have you heard of that? Or maybe it's called differently.